Check out Platinum Wolf Studios at platinumwolf.com for all your audio recording, audio-video editing, voiceover, or any podcast needs, including Skype recording. PlatinumWolf.com for all your audio-video recording and editing needs. Platinum Wolf.
The following episode contains explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Down the rabbit hole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Ashish Thomas. With me is
Paul Lucio
and Glenn Wolf.
You can find us on thegeekgods.com, the Geek Gods podcast, and Paul at
pophorror.com and ihorror.com.
And Glenn at
platinumwolf.com
and Cherry Grove. And we are here today to talk about Long Island Oddities. So scary stuff. But it was interesting because Glenn recently shared an article about the islands that are around Montauk, and it got us to thinking about Long Island is very known, even unknown / known for like paranormal / weird stuff that goes on here. Yeah. It's just a weird place. I mean, we have our own serial killer out east.
Yes.
We have our own haunted house in Amityville, and our own haunted Pizza Hut. So, so the thing is, it's kind of funny, but let's start off by talking about the Amityville house. I know everyone talks about it, but people don't realize that was actually like a hoax. It's not real, but people consider it so real, and they're like, "No, it happened," and I'm like, "No."
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, when enough people say it, no one's going to look in to see if it's the truth and like, oh, there was a movie based on it. But the movie was constructed like it was written with the family who was claiming it to be haunted. And I was actually just reading, because I'd known about this for a while, but I clearly knew this. But, you guys, just to, get some hard facts. I was reading an article of the ABC News, and the DeFeos, there were murders there. I think Robert DeFeo murdered his whole family. So that really did happen. And then the Lutz family, who moved into it, met with DeFeo's attorney, and actually they say that Weber claims they got into a brainstorming session over a couple bottles of wine and turned, little tiny weird paranormal happenings into, stuff with weird Jello type fluids on the floor and voices telling them to get out.
What were they doing in that house?
Dude, I want to know.
You know what? It's sort of like there's no explanation that I found of why they bought the house, but I think it's pretty obvious that they found a great deal on the house because of the murders, and then beyond that, they're like, you know what? Let's make a little bit more money. The house is haunted.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I think the son, who was very young at the time,
Daniel Lutz,
really believes
yes,
this stuff happened. Like, he really believes. It's not like his parents or...
Yeah.
I think he's estranged from his mother, too. I think there's some things going on with the family.
Yeah, they made a documentary. It's called My Amityville Horror, I think. And I think he's in his early 40s or something now. Whatever it is, he's angry, he's upset, like he's clearly, it affected him in some way. So there was some sort of emotional turmoil that was going on in that house, and whether or not it was paranormal, I mean, it's not really debatable at this point, but still some people like Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are the subjects for the movie The Conjuring, they claim that, they sense stuff and whatever. So if you believe that,
Listen, murders did occur there. It's not like things didn't happen there. So, I mean, there is restlessness, but at the same time, what they were claiming wasn't true.
Yeah, no. But it did make for a really good movie.
And
the remake was good, too, with Ryan Reynolds, actually. And the book was awesome as well that they wrote. So a lot of people, they don't like watching the movies. They don't like reading the books because it was fake. But, I'm like... It's entertainment.
It's great, sure. For us, we also got a great folklore on Long Island. How many people are like, did you go to the Amityville Horror House?
Yeah.
Has anyone here gone to that house?
I've actually never been there.
I think I drove by it one time, but I probably should make a real trip of it.
Well, there's not much of a point anymore because they changed the front windows.
Oh.
The front windows were iconic. That was on the poster for the original movie. That was, it had like a distinct look to it, and they changed it because they wanted the new owners wanted people to stop coming there and gawking at the house, but no one does. Like,
Right.
people still go.
People still
there.
go. I mean, I remember in high school, people would say stories about like crosses being burnt off, and
Yeah.
they'd make it bigger than what it actually
Give me a
was.
break, yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Well, stuff like that it sort of does bother me, the whole principle, because there are a lot of people, and this goes along with psychics and stuff like that. Stuff like that really bothers me because they often prey on people who are sort of, they're upset and they're looking for answers,
Well.
and, they just get, psychics and stuff feeding them bullshit to make money. So part of it is like, I'm sort of, I get why people do get mad at the movie and stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't know. I guess I just like the story so much that I don't really care.
Right.
Well, it's funny. We've also been to a place, all three of us have been to a place that's also quote unquote haunted.
Yes.
Katie's in Smithtown.
Right.
Now, they had a paranormal state episode where they went through the bar and the medium of the time, like you said, praying. The owner was going through a lot of hardships at the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like he got preyed upon by the medium. It was like, oh, yeah, this guy's here from the Civil War.
Yeah.
He's right over there. It's like the back entrance to the Katie's. And I'm like, I've been there several times and I've never felt it being haunted. I don't know about anyone else.
I
Yeah,
didn't notice
no.
anything.
It's like, it's a small place. They're trying to blame the ghost for the bad stuff that was like for the lack of sales and lack
Yeah.
of bar being. Let's be kind of real here.
Just bring in John Taffer, man.
I love that show.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
if
my
we could
God.
get John Tapper on here, my life would be made.
But it was funny how we had that one episode during the marathon this weekend was that haunted episode where a bar was really afraid to close his own bar or even go there because the ghost was there.
It's ridiculous. And all it takes is one person to say, this place is haunted.
Right.
You get everyone else saying it. And then every little weird thing that happens, you're going to be like, oh, it's a ghost. Cups get moved in the middle of the night. Someone accidentally misplaces them. And then the next day, if you got haunting and paranormal activity on your mind, you're going to be like, oh, man, that was
haunted.
a ghost. There's no possible way that someone could have accidentally done that.
Oh my God. Like, it's kind of funny. Like that Pizza Hut in Century set.
Yeah, what you were talking about.
Apparently there's a ghost in the bathroom section. There's a ghost area of it.
He wipes your ass for you, doesn't
I
Yeah.
think he
That's-
did.
That's the kind of ghost I want.
He touched me in the wrong place. But in all seriousness, I've been there several times. Most recently this weekend, and the only thing haunting the place is the terrible food that I got from the place. No offense, it was just terrible. Like I waited a year to get Pizza Hut, and when I got it, I was so disappointed. I'm like,
Last time I
I
got
c-
pizza, I was like 17 years old.
it was
I'm
like
actually a fan of Pizza Hut, but sometimes I'm in the mood for fake.
Yeah,
Italian.
yeah. You know
what I mean?
I get that.
but that's what I was in the mood. See, the thing is, I was in the mood for it.
Right.
It just wasn't done very. Like I've tasted Pizza Hut where it's good. This wasn't very good.
Right.
Well, it's like, it's fast food pizza. Sometimes you don't want to go through and get cook a real burger on the grill. So you go to McDonald's.
So my
Right.
thing is that it was haunted. The oven was haunted this weekend. That's what I'm blaming it on. But like you go back to this haunted, like Long Island has so much folklore around, and like we're talking about the island. So one of the things we want to talk about is that government, the Plum Island
Right.
government research. How much research and things are on there, dude? Jesse Ventura did something on Plum Island. It's like that's like the mark to measure it by. No, so Plum Island's a research facility. So Plum Island, according to Wikipedia, is an island in the South Hold of Suffolk County. The island is situated in Gardiner's Bay, east of Orient Point, off the eastern end of the North Fork of Long Island. The island is the site of Plum Island Animal Disease Center, which was established by the United States Department of Agriculture in 1954. It's also site of the former military installation Fort Terry and the historic Plum Island Light and its automated replacement. It's been replaced over the years. Plum Island's owned by the government, and they're actually trying to sell it right now.
I think they did.
I think that they're.
I think it's going to Kansas.
They have.
Yeah, I swear to God.
The
They are.
band.
Yeah, they're coming. They're taking it over.
It's just gonna be like, "We'll carry on my wayward son 24 hours a day."
This is good. They need a place to play.
No, yeah, it's going to be moved to Kansas, and a lot of people are worried about that because the experiments and the pathogens and bacteria and diseases that they have contained within there to do research is going to be right in the middle of the tornado belt. So you don't want
Yeah.
that blowing around everywhere.
Well, you saw that worked with, Superman and Darkseid and Death Seed,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just let's do that in real life.
Maybe they'll put it underground, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but even if they put it on the ground, the thing's going to come up eventually.
They say that it's basically proofed to, because they're not stupid, well, maybe they are, maybe they're not, but,
Debatable, but
if you're working with diseases and, pathogens and stuff like that you can't let out, they're going to be well aware of, all right, so we have a bunch of safety measures being taken right now. If we're going to move it into a place where there's a big risk of wind blowing everything away, we're going to take even more safety measures.
So with that said, so they're going to move. What's about the shit that's already there now? Like, can that land be used? Like, I know they haven't. So I know Cuomo has issued, basically sent a letter to Homeland Security and General Services about that area. It's got to be contaminated with whatever they were working on.
Yeah. Basically, they claim that everything's contained, that there's no issues with anything getting out. People also claim that Lyme disease was basically invented there and it got out. And it spread to Connecticut because, birds would come over to Plum Island, get a bunch of ticks on them because the scientists were injecting the ticks with various diseases and whatnot. And then the ticks would fly over the birds to Connecticut, say, this is my stop, getting off. I want to give people Lyme disease in Connecticut. So,
Hey. Listen, people in Greenwich need to get something. it's Sorry, our listeners in Greenwich, but
they just shut off.
or
They just
listener.
turned this off.
or a listener in Greenwich.
But, that's all, that's just conjecture, and that's just basically people, all these things about Plum Island, they're theories. They're basically conspiracy theories because, people want the government to be evil and mysterious and, in my opinion, from everything I've read, it just seems like it's top secret and it's not available to the public because they're doing some tests with dangerous, bacteria and diseases that they don't want people getting. And I don't think that's that hard to, understand.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like, but I love how they, it's actually gone into modern pop culture. It's actually Silence of the Lambs. It was referenced.
Yeah.
It was referenced to Silence of the Lambs. There was a movie and / novel written about Plum Island. There's been Cloverfield. They say the monster came from Plum Island, which
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's like the Amityville Horror. It's good for stories, but it's whether or not you
Yeah.
believe it, it's more of, you got to be rational about things like this. And I don't think really it's just that rational to always be accusing people of doing these hideous and heinous acts.
Yeah, it could just be that they have to test deadly things. We have to be prepared. It's the world we live in, and
Right.
we have to make sure we're prepared for it, and this is the place to do it.
Yeah, especially in a post 9/11 world, what they're doing is basically they're creating diseases there, supposedly creating diseases before Al Qaeda and whatnot can create them and use biowarfare. But they're creating diseases so they can also create antidotes for them before they're unleashed and
I mean,
are basically weapon of mass destruction because biowarfare is not a joke.
no, it's not. We don't want to get hit with something that we don't know how to fix.
Yeah. But I mean, everything about it, you know what? Here's the thing. It does make for a good, creepy story. When it was first started, they used, I believe I was reading that they used scientists, Nazi scientists, who were specialized in diseases and bacteria and stuff like that, and insect diseases. And so, people make it out to be like these sinister Nazi scientists were coming over here. But you have to understand and remember that not everyone, was in the Nazi party by choice. You didn't have you didn't have a say whether or not you were going to be a Nazi. So these people being brought over here, they could have, obviously, a lot of them were forced to do terrible things, but why not exploit that if it could benefit
it's
the
definitely-
world?
So I was reading this. They said that according to this blog about Plum Island, the Montauk Monster, the experiments, they said they're credited for spreading African swine flu, West Nile, duck flu, which I've never heard of, and Lyme disease. So that could just be because they're trying to figure out how to fix it, like you said.
Yeah.
With the antibiotics and everything out there, a lot of us growing up now we're actually immune and resistant to these antibiotics helping us. Mm-hmm. So they got to come up with new antibiotics to fix these things. So how are they going to do that?
People don't realize that, to create an antidote, you need to have something for the antidote to work on. Otherwise, you're not going to know. Like I said, a lot of these people that have these stories and theories and whatnot about Plum Island, you're not getting these accusations from places like CBS and Fox News and stuff like that. These accusations are coming from, paranormal websites and unexplained mysteries. And you know what? Because it really does sound like something out of the X-Files, and it, does make for a good story. I was actually reading this website called No Private Army on Blogspot.
That's what I'm pulled up right now.
At the end, they ended this article after talking about the horrors of Plum Island and talking about how, they're getting rid of it and making it go to Kansas. And they end with, will the island then be at peace, or will new horrors arise from the ashes of the former masters? Will the experiments, the danger, the fear never end? In the end, nothing ends. Nothing ever ends.
Well, that's where we're sending all the Guidos. Yeah, I said it.
I'm going to edit that out.
No, you're not. That's what we're sending.
That's not how you really end a scientific research article.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make our own horror movie, sending all the Guidos to Plum Island and have them mutate. It's going to be a Geek Gods our first feature film.
Our first feature film.
And our last feature film after we ever did that. But also through the Montauk Monster.
Yeah.
They eventually found out that it was a hoax and it wasn't real.
Yeah. I mean, I think they were saying it was a raccoon or something like that.
That's one fucked up raccoon.
Yeah, right.
It's okay to curse on this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. After, all the commentary, I think people have probably got that by now. Not everything
looking at a picture of it, it looks like one of Bowser's rejected dinosaurs.
It does. Well, the thing is, a lot of people going, it has a beak. It has a beak. It's not a raccoon. Well, the skin is pulled back, and a skull is not going to look like a nice, friendly raccoon nose. Have you ever seen a skull before? It looks sharp. It looks a little weird, but that's a skull.
Yeah, I love this. The raccoons don't have beaks. Limbs are like this creature, nor does it have resembling features. See for yourself on that same poster we were talking about. Does it look like a raccoon? Well, you know what? You can make things look like anything.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all conjecture, and it's just, I feel it's a lot of people just want to believe in stuff like that. They want the X-Files to be more than just a show, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's a little, you need to back it up with facts, not just hearsay.
Yeah.
Well, and they see these photographs, they say, well, this is proof. But then you have scientists and whatnot saying, no, this is what it is. And they go, no, you're lying. The government is lying to them. Which, that's up to you to believe.
But it's funny. I was also looking at the CBS News article that they did where they talked about what is it. So the USDA say, well, they give the disease to the animals to see how they can prevent
these
diseases so that when the livestock, if we ever got hit in our livestock or our food, that's why they hit you.
Yeah, that's another thing they were saying. I think it's called the foot and mouth disease. That's
when you say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah, cows were getting.
From that.
So instead of having to take out whole herds of cows, being afraid that they're infected, you could single them out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No, but honestly, that's how if you think about it, our food source is the one source that if they hit us is going to be detrimental and very, how you recover from that,
And that's exactly what they're saying. Back in the day, if like a cow or something gets a disease and it may spread, you have to get rid of the whole herd of risk of any of them being infected. But now they're looking for ways to single them out so you don't have to do that. And it is, sorry for all the vegans out there. It is kind of, sad to think about this is why they're doing the testing. But I mean, people are going to eat meat and they need to find a safe way to eat meat.
Meat is murder. Hold on. Stop this. Sorry.
Oh, but I was also reading, I don't know if you guys saw this, about the people being washed ashore with long fingernails. Sorry, fingers, claiming it's from Plum Island. This is another thing.
Really? There's a third thing I have, too, to talk about. With that sub that disappeared and all of a sudden reappeared.
Yeah.
That's from that area, which is like Unsolved Mysteries did a story on it. And
Well, Jesse Ventura on his show, I was just watching it on Vimeo. Let me see if I can bring it up, what it's called. Started bringing up these issues with people being brought over and washed ashore with these long fingers and stuff like this. Where are the pictures, you know?
Yeah. Maybe they're all like concert pianists and guitars. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you know.
So the show is called...
Jesse Ventura makes up a lot of shit.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura wants to accuse the government. All right. It's called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. Season 2, episode 1. If you watch that, you know, he's being pursued by the Coast Guard in the beginning. Be like, I was a governor. What do they think I'm doing? Well, you shouldn't be going to Plum Island. And that's why they're pursuing you, you know? So it's a lot of people just, you know, basically, making up shit and causing problems when there shouldn't be because they're accusing the government of doing things like this on no basis other than, you know, hearsay once again. Right. So yeah, you know what? It kind of bothers me, to be honest. It's cool to think about.
It's cool to think about. It's cool to, but when you take it that serious,
then it's just you're just looking for trouble.
Paul's pissed. He's visibly pissed.
Not just because he works there.
Right. What?
Shut up.
Shit.
That was classified.
Ah, damn it. You're supposed to clear these things with me beforehand. Let me know these things. But it's so funny, like, looking at how many articles and things like Poison Plum, a subject of a novel. Like, I like people's creativity. Yeah. But if it's going to be, don't be like, oh, this is based in truth. I hate when people do that. And it's like, the only thing that's based in truth is the word the. Everything else is bullshit. But it's like, no, we base it in truth.
I mean, it is really cool. All of these theories are really cool. And me, you know, personally, I would love to believe in weird monsters and, you know, crazy government experiments. And well, maybe that's a little weird, but
I would love to believe in that.
Yeah. Or, you know,
doesn't? The truth is out there, people.
Right?
The truth is out there.
Or the hauntings or stuff like that. But I'm not going to force myself to, and I'm also not going to make up stuff just to, you know, make myself seem less crazy just because I want to believe in crazy shit.
So I was looking at this for a second.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, is that a wig on the freaking carcass?
Okay, so that website, where is that from?
The unexplainedmysteries.com.
The unexplainedmysteries.com. There's a picture of, I don't know what that is, a pig
it's a big horse that shit himself.
with green hooves, and there's no explanation
but
for
it looks
what
like
the
there's a wig
picture
on it,
is.
too.
It definitely, yeah.
It looks like a wig. So I'm like, what did they put a wig on a pig?
The issue with this picture is it doesn't say what this is. Nowhere they just put a picture in there without explanation.
Which side is the ass end of that animal?
Right over there.
Okay.
That's the wig part would be the head. Come on.
Gotcha.
So what is the purpose of that? You know, because then people skim through the article, they see a picture of this weird cow thing, which could have been taken from anywhere because they didn't even write what it's from. I saw things. It's a
cow horse pig. Let's get this straight with a wig on.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it was funny, like when they were talking about the caption above it is they were talking about different diseases through Lyme disease, and one was like a third microbial gene and a rare form of genital herpes. So I'm just cracking up on that and be like, wait, so they're trying to cure genital herpes? Is that for the scientists?
Yeah, because, you know, they get bored on Plum Island, and everyone gets a little, you know, in each other's business, and then everyone gets genital herpes. So the scientists need to figure out a way to stop that.
Check out Fourth World Comics, Long Island's comic book source for comics, toys, games, supplies, manga, and statues. 33 Route 111, Smithtown, New York. Near Mint since 1982. Check them out at fourthworldcomics.com. Again, fourthworldcomics.com. I love some of the stories. Like you said, like you got to look at what the source is.
Yes.
Like here, it's like, police recalled to Plum Island, a mutated human body was found by the workers in Plum Island. The official police report, like you said, very elongated fingernails. The body of no identification. Moreover, 5 symmetrical holes had been drilled into the skull. At first, the Suffolk police said it was a body of a white man. A day later, they changed the story to claim it was a black man. Why does that matter?
Exactly. But that's giving them ammunition because, okay, so a rotting corpse shows up from, a body of water, so the skin is, not going to be in its natural state. It's possible to mistakenly identify even the skin color. But if you're on a website and you run a website called Unexplained Mysteries of the Weird World that we live in that are totally true, you're going to take that as ammunition.
Right. I have a question, though, because Paul said that it was long fingers, and you said long fingernails.
Well, I think it was long fingers.
Okay.
Yeah, this said elongated fingernails.
That's what's up with that.
Well, okay. Well,
But actually, no, you're right. Elongated fingers.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
fingers.
Fingers,
Gotcha.
sorry.
I just wanted to clarify. I didn't
After
know.
you die, your fingernails still
Because you grow.
and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
So does your hair and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So I'm going to have my hair down to my...
3 years.
Right, yeah.
So I know when I die, I'm going to have long hair.
Yeah.
When I come back as that zombie based on Plum Island because of the research that goes on there.
I mean, it definitely. What do you guys think about the government experiments, though, that you've read on it, though? Do you guys think, what I think, but it's okay to have differing opinions. What do you guys think about what they're doing?
I think it's a research facility. I
Yeah.
think it's just a research facility that's government doing
Agreed.
anything. I don't think it's anything like they're making it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lyme disease happened, it was an accident,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it could be. It could be from where it's, but you don't have proof that it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Until you have corroborating proof that, yes, this is where Lyme disease came from. I'm not going to say yes, could it have happened? Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of things could have happened.
My bigger issue is because people don't just stop with Plum Island and the experiments that are going on there. My issue with people spreading nonsense like that is that it basically creeps into every other aspect of their life. So you start accusing scientists of Plum Island doing this, and this is probably the least of what they're thinking about.
They really don't give it.
Yeah.
They don't discriminate. Everything is, a conspiracy, and it's just they try and put people into a panic. And I personally do have a problem with that. I do.
I think they want something more. They want people to check out the story and they want to be the first people on the side of the news. Like, we were always right about this. We told you. You know what? Out of all the conspiracies, maybe 10% are right.
Yeah.
But because you bullshit your way through the whole thing, no one's going to believe you.
Yes. Absolutely. And there are a bunch of things that may seem like conspiracy, and they are, but they turn out to be true. So I'm not saying it's all crap, but I'm saying a lot of it is, and a lot of people don't really look into the truth of the matter. You see a meme on Facebook or something, and it's truth now. This is the world that we're living in.
Well, how many people put a picture of Deadpool with the welts on his face? And we're like, pray for this young man. He's been in an accident. And people seriously put amen and be like, I'm praying for you. And I'm like, are you fucking retarded?
It's ridiculous.
Finally, someone put that. It's like, it's Deadpool. And they're like, oh.
They probably want to read it, but no.
I know. But I love people like, I know. Like, recently, when I put up the thing with Sarah Palin, that article, which was total bullshit. That she's not Steve Jobs. I knew it was bullshit, but I just
that article was hilarious.
And people were still taking it seriously. I'm like, no one's that dumb to think Steve Jobs is still alive.
Right.
I bet you Steve Jobs, but you know what? If Steve Jobs was alive, he wouldn't unlock that phone. But that's besides the point.
Right.
But with that also, Montauk, there's a lot of manipulation, and like I know, in like the 80s, or 90s maybe, Unsolved Mysteries had a story about like a sub that disappeared that reappeared in Montauk. Mm-hmm. And some of the people like fused in, but they never had evidence of the sub. And they said, oh, the government took, we don't have evidence of this, but it may have happened. Time travel.
Is this when they're talking about cloaking technology and
trying to figure out.
Sounds like an episode of Lost. Just saying.
Sounds X-Files, Lost, like.
No, because people don't know what it was. And they say that the sub reappeared after the 40s, reappeared in the 80s. First off, if you were in the 80s and you saw the sub in the 40s, wouldn't you be like, everyone, holy shit, the sub came from the 40s. And the people fused to the metal on the floor. What the hell?
That's what it was saying. I don't really know much about
That's what the Unsolved Mystery was saying, that people were fused, and I was like, time travel. They're trying to work with time travel. I'm not saying that they don't, try and experiment on it, but that's a little ridiculous. The sub just disappeared and no one's talking about it, and there's no evidence of it.
Like I said, people go government cover up. Everyone turns into a Fox Mulder.
Yeah.
And it's not just, it's not like spreading stories about a haunted bathroom in Pizza Hut. You're talking about it on a much grander scale.
Yeah.
That is the grandest scale.
Pizza Hut bathroom?
Yes. That's the epitome of haunted. More ways than one. But, it's so funny. Like, Long Island has all these, like... I mean, it is a little strange. I mean, we have a lot of people on the island, first off.
Yes.
And from end to end, I don't even know how much is it, like, is it 60 miles? I don't even know.
It's not that long.
It's not that long.
There's a lot of people crammed into a very small space.
Yeah.
And so, people are going to die. People are going to die in public places. And weird stories are going to come up.
Yes, and stay tuned for when we dump Glenn into the Lake Ronkonkoma to figure out.
Sorry you had to find out this way, Glenn.
I wish you could see on this podcast because my face is in horror right now.
We're going to dump it to see if that's just true. But Glenn can't swim, so that might also be why.
You can't swim?
I have swimmies, okay? I'm not ashamed to admit that.
But, we'll see if it happens or not. We're just going to throw someone in the lake and be like, he drowned.
And my
he
swimmers
couldn't
are pink.
swim, but the Indian in the lake took him in.
Oh, that's another one. There are so many stories.
Oh, man.
And especially because of, the Civil War and even before that, the Revolution and stuff. I mean, Long Island has been populated, I think, since
The
1600s.
1600s. And I know we after the last World War, the World War II, a lot of soldiers came back here because they got, I think it was like there was hospitals set up for them.
Yeah.
There was healthcare set up for them. And it was cheap housing.
Oh, God.
Cheap housing. The irony of that.
No, but, even think about this. My dad bought our house in Albertson, which is a very rich neighborhood, in the 80s, 83, I think he bought the house, $100,000. That house recently sold for $750,000, and there were no improvements made.
Wow.
So that house, because of where it is, because it's the Harris School District, right across from a park, sold for $750,000. And I looked at my dad, I'm like, you should never sold that house. I'm going to pay that off in like a year.
Yeah.
Like, when they sold it for a lot of money, but not $750,000.
Yeah.
But it's like, to think about that, imagine buying a house back in the 50s here.
Yeah.
In Levittown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just having, I wish I could go back in time and do that. Be like, I'm going to buy a house. Just don't worry about it. Just keep it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That. But also, something that I think about is we say, Long Island is old and Civil War and whatnot, but I would love to talk to, and I should next time in Germany, talk to Europeans about their ghost stories and stuff because their nations have been there way longer than we have.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember when going through Europe and going to like Romania.
Yeah.
And because of the Transylvania, Romania, and Dracula's castle being there.
Castlevania.
Yes. So they have stories about Dracula. They don't like talking about it though.
Yeah.
They get very like weirded out by talking about Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
But that castle itself it's a tourist spot. You can go in there and be like, I've been to, but to think that's where it's like the most brutal, like where Vlad the Impaler had heads on stakes as you walked in.
What's wrong with that?
It's nothing.
Vlad the Impaler.
That's my front yard. You come to Paul's house.
So what was he
there,
famous for?
I don't know.
Impaling. This is impaled stuff.
He was the first.
He created a shish kebab.
He was the first porn star.
Oh my God.
That's how he got his name.
That's awesome.
In history, that's his name. But looking at the Oddities site, the funny thing is that I never knew until my friend told me, and you guys didn't know, UFOs apparently is known, like Long Island is known UFO territory where there's been abductions.
Yes. You know what? Now, at first when you told me that, I was like, oh, I had no idea what you're talking about. And something literally it just like clicked in my mind that when I used to work at a nursing home and we would be in the kitchen. We'd do like dietary aid. We basically make the food and bring it upstairs. And we just had all this time in the world back in the old days when I first started there to just talk and hang out with each other while we were, getting the food ready. And somehow the topic of aliens came up, right? So there's like 12 people down there and no probing or anything is going on. But I was one of 2 people in there out of probably 12 that has never claimed to see or experience anything alien. Wow. And they were thinking I'm crazy for not believing in aliens. Or saying that I have evidence.
it's weird because I've never been experienced. You never experienced.
Nah.
You never experienced it. You've heard people talk about it, but I've never. And I've pretty much lived here most of my life, so I can't really say. But even this Long Island Oddities, they said that Men in Black was actually real, and that they used to live on Long Island when these things were happening.
Will Smith.
Well, not no, more Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
But
No, there definitely is like a lot of weird stuff with the aliens. See, the problem with me is I'm clearly a skeptic, but I want to believe in all this stuff so bad. It's just hard for me to believe in something that I can't see with my own eyes.
Excellent. But no, it's just funny that, you know, it's like reading this thing about, they have this whole backstory written here on the site, you know, about the Men in Black. They claim, like, what was it? These Men in Black, this woman said they had 4 gentlemen walk up to her door, but the shoes were spotless. It was muddy. It was raining. Mm-hmm. They had high cheekbones that seemed to be of Indian heritage. That's racist. They spoke with her politely, but claimed that her property was theirs and that they would be back. But they never came back. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want to do that. Glenn, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go around here, dress in suits,
shoes on a rainy
really
day.
like put bags over, then go to people like, your property's ours. Black suits, white shirts, and black ties. And be like, and just take their property from them. Really? Who's like, I love that people like that's the description. I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't be like, get the fuck off my property,
Yeah.
assholes. I think she might have confused Jehovah's Witnesses with Men in Black, and she might have been like, they might have been like, no, Jesus wants your property, and or the Mormons, the Latter-day Saints are just like, we want your property. So, and she's like, they're Men in Black. But no, I've heard weird stories with that stuff and like Mount Misery Road. But we're definitely going to do something one day where we debunk it. We got to figure out how to record it. We might just have to record on our phone, just to debunk it. Just do it one day, just to see what happens when we go under that overpass. I'm thinking because it's a hill, so we're just going to go back that way.
So that's the road where you put your car in neutral.
Yeah, it's under a bridge. You have to do it under a bridge. So I'm going to find out exactly where, and one day we'll do it. Maybe in a couple of days. You know,
Sure.
We'll add it to this podcast and see afterwards, or we'll add this video portion. We'll take video of us going. In.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of wacky stuff that goes on the island.
The only thing that I'm thinking is if it's the island, because the island's so packed, what happens if someone's right behind you and your car goes in neutral?
Yep. You crash into them.
It was supernatural, officer. I didn't do anything. I was in neutral and this asshole hit my car ran back into him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing about this stuff. We all want it to be true because we all like this stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, if it was true, I'd be like all for it, but don't make shit up. There's no need for it, you know? There's enough. Your mind does enough of it as it is.
I think more than anything, people believing in things like this, it just satisfies their curiosity that there's something bigger out there. It justifies them not feeling so small and alone in the universe.
It's funny. A buddy of mine bought a house where this is a house where the father killed the mother in the laundry room and murdered, and he bought the house because it was cheap.
Wow.
And it was a recent murder. We've gone. I don't feel anything. Some people are like, oh my god, I feel this. I'm like, no, you don't. You feel yourself. You feel yourself. You're not feeling the spirit. There's no spirit. I've gone in there. I've gone to the room where the lady's been killed, and I don't feel anything.
Well, people will say you're just not sensitive to it.
Exactly.
That's what they say.
I just wonder if they would feel it if they had no knowledge of the murder.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's the thing that always
that's what I was saying. It only takes one person to just start, saying this happened.
Gets it in your head. And all of a sudden.
It's easy to creep yourself. Listen, I do it myself all the time.
Listen, I used to, we were talking about doing the article on the NES Friday the 13th game. You know how many times I used to play that game as a kid and be frightened that Jason was in my room at night after playing it? Yeah. For 3 hours. I used to play that game 3 or 4 hours just because it was a fun game.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest game in the world, but I loved it. Mm-hmm. And I'd go have nightmares at night because I'd think Jason was chasing me because of the way that game was.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Makes sense to me. I do the same thing every day, just in different ways.
So it is what it is. I think we all want to believe, but at the same time, it's like, when do we just start doing damage to our mythology, with this stuff? Like the Amityville house couldn't sell for the longest while.
Really?
I remember they tried to sell it. The old couple who bought it, who changed the windows, I think it was because the look you lose, like you said, kept coming around, but you're decreasing that person's property value.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not
it's
fair
annoying
either.
for the people that live there.
That's not fair either. I mean, your property. This is the life. This is what they've worked their lives to have. Is this house? Now it's stupid to buy that house.
Yeah,
let's be
maybe
honest.
choose a different place to live in.
Let's choose a different place to live.
That house is cursed by annoying teenagers who want to see the Amityville Horror House.
But I remember in high school, people used to be like, "Oh my god, I'm going to the Amityville Horror House." Oh my god, you know.
Oh my God! So what?
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's
Have
just
fun
like
with that.
I've passed it so many times.
Well, I wonder. Obviously, I'm a product of the internet and my generation. All this information is so readily available to us. But I wonder how things were, especially when you guys are young, because you guys are older than me,
We
finding out information like this. Like, it's
You
not as
didn't.
easy.
It was
to
word of
know.
mouth, man.
Yeah.
It was word of
It
mouth
was just
on
talking to your
back then.
friends
Yeah,
and-
it's like,
and there's
oh
no way
my
to-
god, and that's when you hear the stories and be like, oh my god, that really happened to you. Yeah,
Exactly.
And you would take people's word
Yep.
for much more than, like, they would be wrong
Yeah.
about something, but you'd believe it because
Yeah.
there's no Google.
Yeah, you
No.
can't just go. You
There's
can't
like-
just rely on the
I
internet
can't.
to be an expert.
It's funny. You can't imagine.
Yeah.
I remember when in high school people used to say Port Jefferson was haunted, and there are stories about it, and they do have those haunted tours
Really?
in Port Jefferson. Yeah, there was like rumors that Port Jefferson was founded by Satanists.
That's
Stuff
true.
like
My dad. Just kidding. My dad's only half Satanist.
Yeah. He's kidding. He's quarter. he's like Methodist and Satanist. The mix there.
No, but yeah,
Some Lutheran
it
there.
is definitely really cool to think about a time where, like stuff like the Amityville Horror, it's not, the truth is more than just a Google search away.
Like, it's funny. Like, we're writing our story, Totem Falls, and it's like based on a town, like the mythology we're coming up with. I feel like this is what the people do. They do what we're doing for a comic, and they're making it real.
Yeah.
That's basically what they do.
You just say based on a true story.
Yeah, no. I always laugh when they say based on a true story like that. I think it was the Chernobyl Diaries that came out.
Oh, yes.
It's like based on a true story, and the only thing true was the Chernobyl accident.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Everything else
Yeah.
was bullshit.
But hey, look, there are gullible people that will believe that. They'll go,
Right.
no, it was based on, it was real.
I would love to go to see Chernobyl just because I would see what the aftermath was, but I would go only with radiation suits and make
Yeah.
sure everything's covered.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things I would definitely, like, I know Tokyo, after the Tokyo plant disaster, they're still saying things are still contaminated. So we might have that 3 blinking fish from The Simpsons come for real. But it's interesting. It's like how that stuff like comes about and
Yeah.
people's imaginations. That's the one. That's the only good thing I see about it is people's imaginations are really
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I don't think there's really anything wrong with it if you're not, if it's just a bunch of people making up stuff to scare each other, that's fine. Like I said, I have more of a problem with the psychic mediums that come on the radio. You ever listen to the radio?
Oh, God.
That, you know,
What was
like-
What's the
watch-
radio? No,
No,
that's like a dying format too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Radio.
It's funny you talk about like you have the Long Island medium.
Yeah.
You have now on E the kid who says he's a medium who can see into your thing, and I listen to him and I'm just like, you know how they do it? They're like, I see a friend. Do you know a William? And now the way you can do that is go through research, find out their backstory, find out certain things. Like Google is a very powerful tool to get reaching into things.
Yeah. Or all you really have to say is, I'm sensing someone in your life has died recently. And if your parent or someone close to you has died 7 years ago, that may still feel like it's recent. So you go, oh my God,
Yeah.
you're right.
Right.
And they go, it was a father figure. And then maybe it's not your dad, but it's an uncle or it's someone that was also close. And you go, oh my God, how did you know that? So it's ridiculous.
The best one was when the medium was talking and he goes to one of the actresses who used to work with Brittany Murphy. He's like, I feel a Brittany talking to you. She's like, oh my God, it's Brittany Murphy. And he's like, yes.
Yeah. No.
Or it's like, your Uncle Sal. It was like the girl from Jersey Shore. And she's like, yes, my Uncle Sal. Who's Italian doesn't have an Uncle Sal?
Yeah.
I'm like, my Uncle Mario. Yes. Now
That's racist.
doing that to me, I'd just be like, no, there's no Uncle
Yeah.
Sal. Or there might be. You never know, but
So things like that are, those piss me off, to be honest. I don't think you should be exploiting people's emotions like that.
yeah, no, I agree with you because it's just like these people want to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And,
And
they're
you're
calling
taking-
these people and looking at them because they're upset and they're going through some serious emotional turmoil. And then they're getting just, bullshit for a profit.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Bullshit for a profit. That's exactly what it is. It's more like, hey, I'm going to do this, but I see a person with the name M. Is anyone M? Initial M that's close to you that you've lost, or he has something to tell you, and then like go to that teddy bear that he gave you. It's like it's like stuff like that. It's like come on.
Yeah.
And there was a show I used to watch. I forgot what channel it was. Where this woman would go to these celebrities would go to this woman to these things that scared the shit out of them. Like so, I forgot. One was like the poltergeist house, and then go back to the poltergeist. Like, did you see the men in this? I sense men here, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, what? There's a presence here. Like all those shows are bullshit. I would love to find out if Ghost Hunters is bullshit
Yeah.
because it's so like. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, I love that show.
I love that show, but you know what they do for a real living, right? Like with the
They
day jobs.
worked at Roto-Rooter.
They still work at Roto.
They still do? They don't make
Yes.
enough money from that show?
No, I don't think they have yet.
Wow.
One of them quit. The other one still. Like that whole staff is like re-gone. I think this is the last couple of years. I don't think they're gonna do it anymore.
Been going on a while.
I think this. Well, how many times can you go? I hear a noise. Oh shit! My cell phone moved.
The best is Ghost Adventures. You guys ever watch that with Zach
I
Bagans?
think they came out with that. That was bullshit. I think they all.
Oh, dude, it's beyond bullshit. Not only that, it's that guy Zach Bagans, and I don't even care. Like it's just ridiculous. He's the most ridiculous person that ever lived. You have to watch it.
Oh my god!
It's ridiculous.
all right.
He's like, oh my god, the sound. He's like,
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's
and he just goes
hilarious.
into it, and it's just like fun. Like, dude, that was just the cameraman going like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And
His
dude,
like you can feel the douchiness coming through.
I
Oh,
can't. Oh my
It's
god!
so
yeah.
bad. It's
He's
so
like-
offensive to like me being a normal human. Well, maybe that's debatable, but you get
This
what I'm
doll is haunted. And he'll start fighting with the doll. You're like, what the
There was
hell?
one he was like, oh yeah, so you think it's funny to scare people? Come on, show your face. You want to scare me? Come on, scare me. Let's fight. Like, oh my god,
I know.
shut your mouth.
Just rolling up his sleeves.
Yeah.
Takes his jacket off.
All of a sudden the ghost starts beating him up. He's like, I can't fight. Starts punching himself. He's like making himself all blood. It's like, and he loses the fight because he fought himself and lost.
But I mean, I think everyone should watch that show. It's hilarious.
It is the funniest show.
entertainment
It's
value.
on Travel Channel. I think they stopped it finally. Like
Did they?
I think a bunch of the guys they split.
Well, I know that one of the guys isn't on it anymore. I know that, but I
One
know
of the guys
Zach
he has his
Bagans
own
is still
show.
doing
He
it.
has his own show now. I used to follow that guy, and I mean these people they claim everything is true, but I'm like, really? Maybe the crew doesn't tell you what they're doing. Dude, that could be it too.
Yeah,
They may not know what's going on. They think it's real, but it's not.
It's just fun, that
As long as you have fun with it, I have fun with it. I remember I just watched the show Truth. Forgot it was on Sci-Fi. It was like The Truth and something else,
yeah.
and then people would investigate these things. And 9 times out of 10, it's fiction.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's cool to think about, and it
But-
would be a really interesting
So they
and strange world if
debunked-
all these things were real.
But then all of a sudden, they're like the 1-2 things that they like. This might be true. We don't know. It's like, come on, just say yes or no. Like Sci-Fi has stopped a lot of those shows actually.
yeah, it
they
sucks,
just-
but they like doing a lot of the original series now because of Sharknado. I feel like
I think it's Sharknado. Well, it makes sense, but those series, Travel Channel is like the one. I think Biography and Travel Channel are the ones that have those shows really.
yeah,
And Smithsonian Channel, I think, has the Mysteries of the Museum, which actually I like because it's fact based.
yeah,
Because it's like, okay, this is real, this is not real. Or this is the artifact in the Smithsonian, what the lore is based upon. So it's pretty cool that you see the lore
yeah.
of the thing. So that's that. And then stay tuned for our next episode where we go from Mount Misery Road, where we leave Glenn,
Oh, cool, guys.
and we throw Glenn in Lake Ronkonkoma to see if the woman takes him. So I don't know. Would you be happy if she took you or upset that she rejected you? I love this whole specific of the lore too. It's like you have to be between 18 and 36. If you're 37, she's not going to want you. But if you're 17, she's not going to want you. So it's only males 18 to 36.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I thought it was 38, but hey, whatever.
yeah, all right, maybe it's 38. Oh, okay,
You
38.
turn 39, go for a swim. See what happens.
See what happens.
No, like I don't know if I'd ever go to like Ronkonkoma to swim anyway.
Yeah,
Like I don't know
No.
who's
Do people do that?
It's
think
not on my bucket list.
people do.
People swim in Lake Ronkonkoma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Some of
just-
them just don't come back.
It's across the street from here, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go, Glenn.
Yeah.
Glad we nominate you. Your legacy will live on if she takes you in this podcast.
Man.
I was looking at the article about it, and they're like, we did find one article on Newsday from 2000. It talked about a group of boys who were playing in the lake, trying to race each other to a buoy. One of the boys, Onyx Ariel Omanzor. What a fake name right there. Onyx, Onix, Ariel.
Named after a rock.
Yeah.
Fell behind and disappeared. He was later found underwater but could not be resuscitated. Okay. And then there's another article from September 28th. Mentions that the height of the lake varies, but not in any relation. This is unusual for a body of water. That's just adding bullshit to it. It's actually about 70 feet deep at the deepest section.
Is it?
So it's not that deep
Yeah.
to me. It doesn't. 70 feet doesn't seem like it's that deep.
Well, it's like 7 swimming pools, pretty much.
Yeah, seven pools
Most-
deep.
I don't know. What are swimming pools? 8 to 10 feet.
Yeah, 8 to 10 feet. So Glenn, so you're gonna take when you go down, you're gonna take a yardstick when you go down so you can measure how deep it is.
Yeah, not happening, guys. Not happening.
I think we should. I think we are. But I just love how the legend like is still there and Ronkonkoma. The biggest legend of Ronkonkoma was spelling it. God damn it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movies 200 Cigarettes?
No.
Oh my God! It's like Dave Chappelle for real couldn't say Ronkonkoma, so he called it Ronkonkomano. He was like, "We're going to take it back to Ronkonkomano."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's the other thing with Long Island. Our freaking names.
Oh, yeah.
God damn.
Crazy.
Yeah, nobody could say it.
Heritage. Hop Hog. I can't spell Hop Hog. I can spell Hop Hog.
Yeah. I don't
Netquat.
even know if I could spell hop hog off the top of my head.
And
Comma
go.
Squad. Patch Hog. I'm like, to spell.
Oh, yeah. I figured it was spot.
I was like, no, I get. No, so that's it with this. Stay tuned for our next movie podcast, which will reveal the name of the next one, as well as which one we're watching. The last one was it was good, but definitely befuddled all of us.
Yeah.
That's one way to say it.
Yes.
That's the only nice way to say it.
Right.
I think 3 Dev Adams should be shot. Maybe they already have been. That's besides the point. So with that, I'm Ashish Thomas.
Paul Alicia, I forgot my name.
Wait, what's my name again? And Glenn Wolf.
Thank you guys, and have a good night.
Bye, guys.